How do you assess that?
Yeah, obviously disappointed with the result. I think we did enough to win the game, but unfortunately, they competed really hard in the second half and took advantage of some of the kick contests. I think they certainly won the last plays in that second half, and they got some rewards off the back of that. So, look, there's a ton of spirit from our guys, but there's a heap of spirit from the Knights, and unfortunately, we weren't good enough in that second half to defend our lead. So that's really disappointing.
And Daly, what did you notice was the difference in that second half?
I think Sieb summed it up pretty well there. There's obviously a lot of execution things that we can look at as well, but I think as Sieb's mentioned, they played a really good style of footy that second half, and then as I sort of mentioned, then our errors compounded that as well. So it just built momentum for them, and they just kept rolling.
There were some moments where positivity. Tommy's try was very creative, quite a strong run. What do you think were the positives from the game that you'll try and kind of take through to next round?
Like what Sieb said, there's certainly a lot of effort. You only look at the last sort of month, we've gone, win-loss. Our losses have been sort of, I feel like, pretty close, and it's not as if we're not trying, but yeah, we're just struggling to find that weekly consistency. So we've got a couple of days to freshen up as a side. So I think we'll come back very hungry for a win next weekend after tonight's result.
Anthony, I'm not sure if you've had time to sort of have a chat with them, but Lehigh, obviously Category 1, how's he kind of faring up?
Yeah, he was in there. I've only spoken to him briefly, but he's obviously okay, but it's Category 1, so he'll be out next week, and certainly missed him, losing him really early in the game. Caused a bit of a reshuffle to our team, and Tolo first half was very good at fullback, and we had Benny in the centres, but then losing Tommy in the second half to HIA, he came back thankfully, but there was a bit of chaos. So we had a couple of back rows playing centres, and I thought the Knights, they were really good tactically during that period there. They sort of took advantage of that. So they did a good job during that period.
And with both now Tommy and Lehigh out and Origin kind of on the horizon again, how do you kind of foresee this next preparation period in terms of the changes that you will have to make?
Yeah, well, all going well. We'll get Turbo back next week, and Jason Saab is available again. So we've got some players back available. I think we need to have a couple of days off. I've got to say it's our 5th game in 25 days, so it's been pretty full on schedule. So as disappointing as that is, we need to take a breath and come back in full of energy on Monday. We play the Titans away on the Gold Coast next Friday night, so. They're always spirited encounters, so we need to take a breath and dive into next week and see who's available.
And Daly, apologies to put it starkly, but do you think that performance from yourself was enough to get you back into the Queensland squad?
I don't know. Find out Monday or Sunday.
Does anyone give you any indication where you sit with that at the moment, Daly?
You always find out on Sunday or Monday.
Does today's speculation on the back pages of a couple of papers bother you, concern you, or you've been around long enough to roll with whatever's put out?
Yeah, look, I genuinely don't know what has been said. I understand it's a pretty sort of busy period when it comes to my name, but doing my best to keep my head down. Train and play with the Manly boys and be a good dad.
Anthony, did you expect to fight back? I mean, Newcastle were booed off at half time.
Yeah, I didn't know they were booed off. I did. I was interviewed at half time on Channel 9, and I said, Newcastle are a spirited team. They made 4 of the last 5 finals campaigns, so they've been a consistent team. It's hard to make finals year upon year, and they've shown that. So there's a ton of class there and fight. We really suffocated them in that first half, but they got some field position, and they didn't give us any. They didn't give us much field position. I'm not sure how many errors they made in the second half, but they were pretty clean with their execution. So they're always going to fight back. I was thinking that if we could show the effort we showed in the first half, keep competing, then we'd be able to close the game out. But unfortunately, we weren't able to.
Do you think Tommy's try was enough to kill off their fight back that you could hang on from there?
Look, it definitely could have been enough, but again, like just as a general summary, we weren't consistent in that second half. So whether it was from errors, our defence, we allowed a lot of points in that half through our defence. So we missed a lot of tackles. We allowed offloads. We had a few errors off our kicking game in particular. Like there was just a lot of things that went wrong. And then, as Siebes mentioned, I think they might have made one error, maybe two errors in that second half. They were just super consistent and continued to put the pressure on us. So, in the end, our defence didn't hold up. But that first half, there's a lot to like, and that's obviously got to be the part that we look at for next week. But yeah, we're obviously still chasing, as cliche as it is, that 80-minute performance, and that's what we needed tonight.
Just speaking of consistency, Manly gone win-loss since round 7. Do you put that down to personnel, or what do you put it down to?
I don't think you can ever put that down to just one thing. Scheduling, personnel, the way we're playing, there's so many different parts to a game of footy, let alone, 2 months of footy. But inconsistency, it's definitely something that we've identified. We do want to put back-to-back games together. It seems that when we are playing well, it's really good. And unfortunately, when it's bad, it's, in this competition, you only have to be that sort of 5-10% off and teams are going to beat you. So it's a really close competition. There's no easy games, no easy weeks. So, consistency is probably what everyone's trying to look for, and we're no different to a lot of clubs trying to find consistency. So we'll go back to the drawing board, and it's a really important game for us next week in the context of the season. Cheers.